Which one is best? A 4-unit apartment building or a 5-unit apartment building? Which one should you start with first? A 4-plex or a 5-plex? Is one better than the other? Does one make more money than the other? Right? Is one easier to purchase than the other? The last question is, between a 4-plex and a 5-plex, is there one main difference between the two? The answer to those 4 questions is yes. So in this video, I'm going to share with you specifically in detail those answers, right? And I'm also going to share with you a student of ours who purchased a 4-plex who's absolutely crushing it in terms of cash flow, depreciation, and appreciation. Let's get started. I'm going to answer your questions right now. We're going to get down to it. Before I get started, if you have any questions along the way in this video, go ahead and text a question directly to me to this number, 833-942-4516. I will love to hear from you. Okay, let's get started. All right, first question is, which one is easier to begin with, a 4-plex or 5-plex? Which one's easier? Well, I'm going to answer that question by first distinguishing between the difference between the two apartment buildings. Well, from a lender standpoint, a 4-unit is residential. Okay, they'll treat it as a residential property, so they'll treat it as the same loan as a single family, duplex, triplex, or 4-plex. Okay, so from a lender standpoint, they will call a 4-unit residential property, and a 5-unit from a lender standpoint is a commercial property. Okay, so different lending terms when you do commercial. So if you go back to the question, which was easier to start with, the 4-unit is easier to start with because you're getting a residential loan, whereas mainly upon your credit and your down payment, okay? As opposed to a 5-unit commercial, they're going to rely on the property's income and your experience and your credit as well. So a little more stringent qualifications here to qualify for commercial loan. For a residential property, a 4-unit, these days you can do a 3.5% down, a 10% down. I've even seen a 15% down that our students are getting. All right, so this is easier to begin with. Okay, so a 4-plex. All right, so answer that question. Secondly, which one makes more money? Okay, now that's a loaded question, right? So when I hear which one makes more money, I'm thinking 2 things. Which one has the higher ROI, return on investment, and which one has the higher cash flow? Okay, that's what I'm thinking. Here's the difference here, all right? Because you have better interest rates here as a residential loan, and you have a lower down payment, the ROI here is higher than it is on a 5-unit because the down payment is not 10% like it is here. It's 25 to 30% over here, right? And the interest rates are a bit higher over here. So the ROI is higher on the 4-plex, okay? But in terms of cash flow, the cash flow is higher over here because you have more units, right? So you can, as you get into commercial, you're going to have 5 units and greater. You're going to have 10 units, 12 units. So the cash flow potential is greater over here, okay? All right, so that answered that question. The third question, what's the one main difference between the two? And the difference is huge. It's huge, okay? The difference is with a 5-unit, which is commercial, we can force the appreciation by raising the income, which we're raising NOI. So on the commercial property, and you've all heard me say this a gazillion times, with the commercial property, as the net operating income goes up, so does the property value. So you can force the value upward. You can force appreciation on a 5-unit and greater. You cannot do that on the fourplex. Okay. So in terms of wealth building over time, this wins. Okay. So you can see all the differences between the two. Okay. So which one's better than the other? They're both good. They're both good. They both get you into the business. Now, we have a student named Abdul who bought a fourplex in California. Okay, we have rent control here, right? And it's sometimes not very pleasant to invest in California. Well, he bought a fourplex in California. He bought it for $690,000 about 18 months ago. It's worth $800,000 today or more. Okay, being conservative here. So he has the appreciation. Okay, he also has. So last tax year, he had $26,000 in tax savings from a fourplex. Okay, so he got the depreciation, and then thirdly, he was able to generate cash flow out of his deal. So he had the income. So on this 4-unit, we achieved appreciation, depreciation, and income on his 4-unit property, right? So basically, he was able to buy the property, collect the cash flow, right? Get the tax savings. At the end of the year, he showed a paper loss of $26,000, even though he pocketed the money. Okay, he pocketed cash flow, right? So again, I don't know of any other investment that can give you all three. Okay, and this is it on the fourplex. So what I'm going to do now is take you to Abdul's story so you can share how he pulled this off. And when we come back, I'm going to share with you exactly how you can put yourself in his position and even better. Let's do that next. Hello, everyone out there. Hey, thank you for joining me today. I have a wonderful, wonderful guest for you. He's one of our students, Abdul, one of our prize students. And today he's going to share with you his fourplex journey, his 4-unit multifamily story. Welcome, Abdul.
Thank you, Peter, for inviting me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So let's jump into it. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. My name is Abdul. I'm a healthcare professional for more than 20 years, and I live in California, and I have my own practice, a private practice.
Okay, great, great. And thank you for that. So why commercial real estate? So why multifamily? So share with us 1 or 2 reasons why you jumped into this business. What's your why?
Well, I'm in healthcare as a healthcare professional. I worked for more than 20 years, and I was at the point I said, you know what? I have my own practice. I should look for something different, maybe new. And also, in addition to that, maybe I can bring my income a little bit higher. And so I started doing the research. And basically, the main thing that started this, I came across Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I actually bought an audio book and I listened to some parts of it, not even all of the book. At some point, like I got the point, I said, you know what? The best thing to do is to do real estate. And then between those two, between commercial and residential, I did a lot of other research online with the YouTube videos and all other research, and I looked at some books and stuff. And then I said, you know what? The commercial real estate is better than residential, and I decided to do the commercial real estate.
Great, great. And how did you find us?
That's a great question. What happened is I actually did a long research, like for several months. I went online, I watched a lot of YouTube videos, I looked at a lot of mentors for commercial real estate, and after I came across your channel, I watched several of your videos, and I noticed that there is a difference between you and the way you present and the other mentors or people who are training the commercial people for commercial real estate. your videos were mostly like all the most important points, like bullet points. And that really impressed me. I said, you know what? This is the place. This is where I park. And that's it. The rest is history. And I applied for your program, and I went through the vetting, and I was able to get in. And
All
that's
right.
it.
All right. And I'm glad you made it in. All right. Okay, so let's jump into the fun stuff. Let's jump into your deal. And so share us a little bit about your deal, your first purchase.
My first purchase is a fourplex. It's in California, and what happened is I found it through proprietary methods, and then
In other words, you went direct to the seller, right?
I went direct to the seller, because
Yeah.
all the one online, according to your teachings, all the deals after I learned within this 2-3 years, they are not really good.
Yeah.
So that's why I went directly, and we just tried to negotiate with the seller for several months. Actually, it took us. And about 2 years ago, in 2021, in December, we closed. Every step of the way, you took me by hand and you gave me guidance. And at the end, I was able to get actually we got some concessions. I got a credit, I think around $24,000 back.
That's great. So the purchase price, if I recall, was $690,000, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you were able to get back at closing a $24,000 credit, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you got a pretty good loan back then as well, right?
Yes.
You sure
Yeah.
did, yeah. And that's one of the beauties of fourplex, because from a lender standpoint, it's a residential property and the interest rates are a bit lower. So you got a really great interest rate there.
Yeah, I think I got it at the 3.75 or something.
Yeah, that's really good. All right, and tell us more about the deal, because you when you purchased it, you had vacancies and the rents are really low, right? And I mentioned that because you're in California and we have rent control here, and a lot of people don't want to do apartments in California because of that, but you were able to get over the hump. So please share the story.
Okay. Yeah, when I acquired the property, there were like only two units were full, and only there was one paying tenants. That means I had only 25% economic occupancy. I had 50% physical occupancy, but I was paid only by one tenant, so that makes it 25% economical occupancy. So as soon as we acquired the building, we renovated the units, the vacant units, started with that. And then one of the unit that was non-paying for I think 9 months, 10 months or more. So I had to work on eviction, and we evicted her. And after that, I renovated those units. So the 3 units. So basically now, right now I have all 4 units full. And
the highest rent is $1,750, I believe, right?
Yes, sir. Actually, that's what my goal for all of them, but there is a couple of them that's $1,750 right now.
Okay.
Initially, I started with $1,104. The one paying tenant was paying $1,104.
Wow. Okay, so that's incredible, because a lot of people don't want to do multifamily California because they can't get their rents up, right? And you were able to go from $1,100 to $1,750 in less than 2 years. That's pretty incredible.
Yes, sir. I actually always like, even on my practices, I always follow the rules and the law. In California, I basically went up to the highest maximum that legally I could raise, and that's what I raised the rents, and that's where we got.
Okay, great. And from what I know, because I kind of coached you through this, you've had to do renovations on the units on all 4, right?
Yes, sir.
And so how much did you spend on the renovations per unit about?
I would say average of, I would say like the rough average around $5,000 per unit. Okay,
so $5,000 per unit times 4 units, that's $20,000 over the last, year and a half. You've owned the property, right? And so the reason why we love multifamily is we can get appreciation, depreciation, and we can get the all the tax benefits. So you spent 20,000 on renovations, and share. I know this. I know the answer because I love the story. Share with me your tax savings at the end of the year.
Ooh, that's what I was reading about first. I said, is that real? How this can happen, and why everybody's not into commercial real estate? Basically, I spent 20,000 on renovations, and then there were mortgage. It's becoming like 24th month that my ownership of this building. I think the mortgage total is around 84,000 for 24 months. So all of that money of rents really didn't come out of my pocket. It was paid by tenants. And then plus the 20,000 that I spent on renovation, and my accountant, when I'm looking at my taxes in 2022, he declared, I think, minus 24 or 26,000 paper loss.
Yeah, that's incredible. So you pocketed the cash flow, right? And
Yes.
you put money into the property, right, to fix them up. And then at the end of the year, you had a paper loss of $26,000 that you can take and use that loss to wipe off your other income from your medical practice.
Yes, sir. Yes.
That's beautiful, right? That's the essence of real estate. So good job on that, Abdul. Yeah, that's how you do that. Yeah. So everyone here is probably wondering, Abdul, why did you buy a fourplex and not a fiveplex?
Well, actually, now that I'm looking back, I think I rushed a little bit, because you know how the first property you're trying to like get your hands somewhere on something.
Mm-hmm.
I did that, and I wasn't really ready to buy out of state and all that. But now that I look, I could have easily gotten a property that is much cheaper and much more cash flow out of state with the high numbers. And fourplex is not really compared to commercial, which is five units and up.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as good. But to me, I'm happy because with your mentorship, everything worked out pretty good. But I got fourplex because I just got my hands on it first. That's the first thing, that opportunity that was given to me.
Yeah,
And
that's great. If a student or someone off the street would ask me that question, Peter, what should I do first, a fourplex or a fiveplex? And I would say, go with the best deal, right? Do the best deal, and that was the best deal at the moment. Now, the only thing that we do not get with the fourplex, that we do get with the 5 unit, starting off with 5 unit, is you can't force appreciation with the fourplex, right? But you were able to get higher rents, your cash flowing. It got you started in the business, right? Because now you're looking at much larger units now, so it got you started, and we have the tax benefits we just talked about. But the other thing is, just in 18 months, your property value went from 690 to what?
I think conservatively around close to between 750 to 800.
Actually,
Upstream the other day told me it's worth around 900. So I don't believe that, but I think it's conservatively between 750 to 800.
Yes. So there you go, 690 to around 800,000. So it did appreciate, right? And now over time, because just the nature of multifamily, there's just a limited supply and a great demand for it. So, and you're in a great area, right? Great area. And the value is just going to keep going up as long as they can't build any more brand new C-class apartments, in which they can't, right? So your demand will always be there. All right. So just great. So with this deal, Abdul, you got everything that a 5 unit multifamily will get, except the forced appreciation. But you actually did get a couple of $100,000 in appreciation. So not too shabby. Yeah. All right. So thanks for sharing that. Okay, let's end with this, if we may. What type of advice or tips that you can give to a person wanting to know how to start in multifamily commercial? What would you say to them?
Well, the main thing is educate yourself. You don't just jump into something, okay, let me buy a fourplex because my cousin told me. No, you get your own education. You you do a lot of research, get a mentorship, get a very good tried and tested mentor, and place a team of professionals who can help you with the process. And the other thing is, don't rush, be persistent. And the main thing is, it is work. Whatever you do is work. If you look at the painter, it's work. It's not easy. If you look at the plumber, it's not easy. Just don't give up too soon. It is a process. If you have a correct mentor, you will get there. Be patient.
Great. Thank you so much, Abdul.
No
All right. So Abdul, just want to say thank you for sharing your story of your fourplex. And I know right now you're working on much larger things, and perhaps that's the progression, right? To get started with a small multifamily like a fourplex, right? With your goal of creating an empire of multifamily, right? And that's what you're working on now. So maybe that's the progression for you.
Thank you, Peter. I wanted to point out something. I truly appreciate your every minute of your time that you spent with me for the past 3 years. It's been a journey that I never regret. And this is what I do. Everywhere I sit at a party or at a friends or at the professionals that I see, my colleagues, I always bring up the subject of commercial real estate. And I truly appreciate your company and your coaches and you and for all your help.
Thank you so much. And again, thank you for joining us today and sharing your inspiring story.
No problem. My pleasure.
All right, Abdul. Okay, I'll see you on the next set of coaching calls.
Okay.
Welcome back. Do me a favor. Wasn't Abdul just wonderful? Just so much wisdom in this person. So do me a favor. Go ahead and encourage him. Give him a high five. Tell him congratulations. He's working on some very, very large projects now, and he needs your encouragement. Okay, we all do. So tell him to keep on keeping on. All right. Now, I'm going to do a quick summary of this so I can put yourself in Abdul's shoes. But let me start off with this. You see, in life, it's not about how much money you make at work. Abdul has a great job as a healthcare provider, but he can only make so much money with his hands, with his two hands. Okay, and so it's not about how much money you make at work. It's more about how much money you make while you're not working. Okay, and this is what commercial real estate and multifamily will do for you. While you're sleeping, your tenants are paying your rent, you're paying down the mortgage, you're building equity, you're getting tax savings while you're sleeping. Okay, that's the whole goal here. All right, so quick summary. Abdul bought the property in California. As you know, we have rent control in California, so how you get the rents up from $1,100 per unit to $1,750, you know what that required? I'll brag a little. It required coaching from all of us, from all of our coaches in our company. It required all of our skill levels to help him in a little more than a year to get his rents from $1,100 to $1,750. He's at a point now where his rents are more than double what his mortgage is. So he has great cash flow because we strategically helped him get his rents up. Okay, it wasn't easy because of where he's located. He also received, while he was under contract, we worked with him closely, $24,000 in credits at closing that we used to put $20,000 of it back into the property to improve it to get the rents up. Okay, so very strategic there, using other people's money. And then lastly, he received in year one $26,000 in tax savings. So even though he pocketed the cash flow, right, with his depreciation and mortgage and all the write-offs, he was able to have a paper loss of $26,000 that he took and applied to his other businesses so that he doesn't have to pay as much in taxes. All with a fourplex, okay? So some of you thinking, Peter, I want to start with 100 units. I want to get started with 20 units. You don't have to. So people always ask me, you know, what's the best deal that I should get started with? The answer is the best deal. So you want to get started, whether it's a fourplex or fiveplex, with the best deal. And that's what Abdul did, all right? So even though it's a fourplex, it got him started, okay? You have to get started in the business. So it happens to be a good fourplex deal that's allowed him to continue now to scale upward. Now he's working on much larger 100 unit complexes. But this fourplex allowed him to get started. Okay, that's key. You can talk all you want, but until you get started, you're not in the business. Okay, so a fourplex is a great way to get started. All right, okay. Last thing I'm going to do here, this will help me, so please help me with this. I'm going to do a quick poll, and the poll is where you are today. Okay, all of you that are watching, where you are today, which one would you buy first? After this training here, after this short video, would you prefer to start off with a fourplex or fiveplex? Okay, so if you prefer a fourplex, put the 4 in the comment box. And if you like to start off with a fiveplex, put a 5 in the comment box. I would like to know so I can see what your answers are to provide more training. Okay, so again, this is the poll. The poll is if you would start today, would you start off with the fourplex? Put a 4 in the comment box. If you're going to start today with the fiveplex, put a 5 in the comment box. Okay, and let me see the results so I can have more training for you. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. And if you would like to be in Abdul's shoes one day, go ahead and apply to our Protege Mentoring Program. We have wonderful people here. Myself, I have other coaches that can help you get to the next level. Also, too, if you like this video, go ahead and hit the like button, or even subscribe. That's even better. All right. I also have a book that will appear on the screen. The link will be there. If you just want to read about this business, go ahead and click on it and get at it and go ahead and read. All right. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you so much, and I'll see you at the next video.